President Obama and Iran's new President Hassan Rouhani addressed the United Nations General Assembly. During his speech, Obama insisted the United States is not interested in regime change in Iran and said the U.S. respects the rights of the Iranian people to access peaceful nuclear energy. Obama also welcomed what he called Rouhani's popular mandate for a, quote, moderate course.
I want to be clear. We are encouraged that President Rouhani received from the Iranian people a mandate to pursue a more moderate course. Given President Rouhani's stated commitment to reach an agreement, I am directing John Kerry to pursue this effort with the Iranian government in close cooperation with the European Union, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Russia, and China. The roadblocks may prove to be too great, but I firmly believe the diplomatic path must be tested.
While Obama and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani did not meet at the United Nations or shake hands, Rouhani echoed Obama's call for diplomacy. He reiterated Iran has no nuclear ambitions, but noted Iran has a right to enrich uranium on its territory within the framework of international rules.
Iran seeks constructive engagement with other countries based on mutual respect and common interests, and within the same framework does not seek to increase tensions with the United States. I listened carefully to the statement made by President Obama today at the General Assembly. Commensurate with the political will of the leadership in the United States, and hoping that they will refrain from following the short-sighted interest of war-mongering pressure groups, we can arrive at a framework to manage our differences. Nuclear weapon and other weapons of mass destruction have no place in Iran's security and defense doctrine, and contradict our fundamental religious and ethical convictions.
Iranian President Rouhani's speech to the United Nations comes after weeks of Iranian outreach efforts to the West, reportedly at the behest of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Last week, President Rouhani appeared in a rare interview with NBC News and wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post calling for, quote, constructive engagement. Then, on Monday, the former reformist president, Mohammad Khatami, wrote an op-ed in The Guardian, also calling for a renewal of diplomacy. And in the lead-up to the UN General Assembly, the Iranian government released a number of political prisoners, including a leading human rights lawyer, Nasrin Sotoudeh.
Well, for more, we're joined by Nargis Bajoli. She is a graduate student and documentary filmmaker at New York University, researching military culture in Iran, director of The Skin That Burns, a documentary film about survivors of chemical warfare in Iran. Nargis Bajoli, welcome to Democracy Now! Talk about the significance of the new Iranian president's message at the UN yesterday.
I think a couple of things that President Rouhani did yesterday which were key was that first he addressed the domestic audience in Iran, especially the hardline audience that I think has been a little bit wary of seeing where this is going to go after Ahmadinejad. And he was very forceful in saying that Iran should, in his opinion and in the opinion of the Islamic Republic, continue to pursue nuclear enrichments for peaceful purposes, and at the same time come out against the sanctions and compare it to the Iraqi sanctions from before 2003, which was very big to do for him. But at the same time, he came out and said that Iran does not want war and Iran wants peace. And that, I think, was addressed both to the domestic political elite, but also to the American audiences and the UN that was watching his speech at the...
So who are the domestic constituents that he was appealing to, and to what extent does his position represent a substantive change from his predecessor?
I think Rouhani came in at a moment which was very crucial in the Islamic Republic. Three things, I think, came together to bring him to the presidency, because up until a week before the elections, many people that we would talk to in Iran were not going to vote. Many people didn't even think that Rouhani had the slightest chance to even win this election. But three things, I think, came to play a very large role in this election. One was the sanctions. The economy in Iran is hurting extremely badly, and the middle class doesn't have a lot of have beforehand. Two is that Ahmadinejad's the way in which the 2009 elections happened in Iran and having millions of people come out onto the street and chant against the supreme leader and chant against Ahmadinejad really showed the political elite in Iran that they have a significant portion of the population that is against the current course, and that led to